Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before let me introduce myself, my name is Ismi Fauzia Hanum. My student ID number is T2019-60-94. So here I would like to talk about functional theories of translation. First point, we would like to talk about text type. In 1934 till 1965, German psychologist and linguist Karl Buchler are categorizations of the three functions of language. First is informative function, second is expressive function, and the last one is appellative functions. The main characteristics of each text type are summarized by Rees at 1977 till 1989 as follows. First, informative text type, or we usually called as plain communication of fact. And the main characteristic of informative text type are information, knowledge, opinion, and each other. The language dimension used to transmit the information is logical and referential to content or topic is the main focus of the communication. Second is expressive text type or creative compositions. The author uses the aesthetic dimension language. The author or sender is foregrounded as well as form of the message. And the next one is operative text type or inducing behavioral responses. The main characteristic is the aim of the appellative function is to appeal to persuade the reader or receiver of the text to act in a certain way. For example, is to buy product or if an advert or to agree to an argument. And the form of language is dialogue and the focus is appellative. And the last one is audio media text. Just for example, such as films and visual and spoken advertisements, which is supplement the other three functions with visual, image, music, and each other. Okay, next is Rees 1977 till 1989 states that the transmission of the predominant function of the ST is the determining factor by which the text types is judged. She suggests that specific translation method according to text type, and these methods can be described as follows. First is the text type of an informative text should transmit the full referential or conceptual content of the ST. The translation should be in plain prose without redundancy and with the use of explicitions when required. So the translation of an encyclopedia entry of, or we can say that the Tyrannosaurus rex should focus on transmitting the factual content and terminology and not worry about stylistic niceties. Next or second is the text type of an expressive text should transmit the aesthetic and artistic form of the ST. In addition, ensuring the accuracy of information. The translation should use the identifying method with the translator adopting the standpoint of the ST author. So, the translator of James Joyce would need to try to write from the perspective of the author. In literature, the style of the ST author is a priority. Third one is the text type of an operative text should produce the desired response in the text type receiver. The translation should employ the adaptive method, creating equivalent effect among text type readers. So the text type of an advert needs to appeal to the target audience even if new words and image are needed. And the last one is audio-medial texts require what Rees called the supplementary method and supplementing written words with visual image and music. In 1971 till 2000 year, Rees also lists a series of intralinguistic and extralinguistic instruction criteria by which the adequacy of a text type may be assessed. These are: first is linguistic components, and second is non-linguistic determinants. For linguistic components, there are three types. First is semantic equivalence, second is lexical equivalence, and the last one is grammatical and stylist features. And for the non-linguistic determinants, there are 7 types. First is situation, second is subject, field or domain, third is time, fourth is place, fifth is receiver, sixth is sender, and the last one is effective implications. The next point of text type is the translatory actions. The translatorial actions model proposed by Justa Holz-Matari and takes up concept from communication theory and action theory. Translatorial action views translation as purpose-driven, outcome-oriented human interaction. It construes the process of translation as message transmitter compounds. Interlingual translation is described as translatorial action from a source text and as communicative process involving a series of rules and players. First is the initiator. The initiator is the company who needs the translation. Second is the commissioner. The commissioner is the individual or agency who contact the translator. Next is the ST producer. ST producer is the individuals within the company who writes the ST and who are not necessarily involved in the text type productions. Next is the text type producer. The text type producer is the translators and the translation agency or department. Next is the text type user. Text type user is the person who uses the text type. For example, a teacher using a translated textbook or a rep using sales brochures. And the last one is the text type receiver. The text type receiver is the final recipient of the text type. For example, the students who using the textbook in the teacher's class or clients reading a translated sales brochures. In the translatorial text operations, the term Holz-Matari used for the production of the text type, the ST is analyzed solely for its construction and function profile. Relevant features are described according to the traditional split of content and form. So what are content and form? Content is divided into factual information and overall communicative strategy, while form is divided into terminology and cohesive elements. The third theory of text type is Scopus theory. Scopus is the Greek word for aim or purpose and was introduced into translation theory in the 1970s by Hans J. Vermeer at 1930 till 2010. As a technical term for the purpose of a translation and of the action of translating. The major work on Scopus theory is Rees and Vermeer's Grundlegung einer allgemeinen translation theory at 1984 and translated as toward a general theory of translation action at 2013. And a text type called the translatum by Vermeer and translation action in North translation must be fit for purpose, that is, it must be functionally adequate. And therefore, knowing why ST is to be translated and what the function of the text type will be is crucial for the translator. The Scopus theory also writes how the success of the action and information transfer is to be judged on its functionally adequacy. First is the coherence rule states that the text type must be interpretable as a coherent with the text type receiver situation. In other words, the text type must be translated in such a way that it makes sense for the text type receivers and given their circumstances, knowledge and needs. And if the text type doesn't fit the needs of the text type receivers, it is simply not adequate for its purpose. And next is the fidelity rule morally states by EBIT 102 and that there must be coherence between the text type and ST, or more specifically between the ST information received by the translation and the interpretation the translator makes of this information and the information that is encoded for the text type receivers. The last point in text type is translation-oriented text analysis. Christian North text analysis in translation 1988 till 2005 presents a more detailed functional model incorporating elements of text analysis which examines text organizations at or above sentence level. North first make a distinction between two basic types or translation product and process, which are documentary translation and instrumental translation. First is documentary translation. Documentary translation serves as a document of a source culture communication between the author and the ST recipient by North 2005. Such is the case, for example, in literary translation, where the text type allows the text type receiver access to the ideas for the ST, but where the reader is well aware that it is a translation. Another example of documentary translation given by North are word for word and literally translation and exoticizing translation that seeks the preserved local color. Second is an instrumental translation. Instrumental translation serves as an independent message transmitting instrument in a new communicative action in the target culture and is intended to fulfill its communicative purpose without the recipient being conscious of reading or hearing the text which in a different form was used before in a different communicative situation. In other words, the text type read the text type as true it were ST written in their own language. So, I think enough for the discussion of text type. And I say sorry for the mistake that I have made. So, I think enough. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and see you in the next video.